Hi, everybody. Today we're talking about the difference in healthcare between Ivory Coast in West Africa and the United States. My name is Patricia. I'm an Ivorian who used to live in the United States for years, and I decided to move back to my home country, Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, my hometown, Abidjan, with my family. So, on this channel, I share my experience moving back to the continent, moving back to Abidjan, share tips and what I'm learning, and our adventures. Today, I want to talk about the difference of healthcare between Ivory Coast and the US, specifically emergency care. I'm a pharmacist by training, and I used to work in hospital in the United States, especially in the emergency department. So to me, it's really interesting to see the difference between emergency care here and in the US. Obviously, on a general level, the United States have better healthcare than Cote d'Ivoire. But I think it's not as simple as that. There are some good hospitals here, private hospitals, some good doctors here. But today I just wanted to speak specifically about like I say, the emergency care. So, the summer vacations, it's not really summer here because it's always hot, but the vacations are over now. Everybody's back to school for the kids. But during this vacation, we had the unfortunate luck to have to go to the emergency department a couple of times for our daughter. And it was really interesting to me to see the difference between how it worked in the US and how it worked here. So I want to talk about three specific differences that I observed. The first one, I'm not sure it's a big difference, but still, it was the triage and the lack of urgency from the hospital staff when we went. Mind you, we went for what I consider true emergencies. The first one was concussion, and the second one was she had a stomach bug and she couldn't keep anything down. She kept vomiting and vomiting and vomiting. The first time when we went, she had fell on her head and she was completely out of it, sleepy, vomiting, and we brought her to the ER. And the person who I'm not sure they were nurses, the person who triaged the patient, sent us to the on call pediatrician, not the emergency pediatrician, the on call pediatrician, like urgent care type of thing, consultations. After, and that was my first time in that ER. So I didn't know. And I was like, I need the pediatric ER. She was like, yeah, it's on the second floor. So we went there and we waited like 3 hours at least, or four. And the child vomited a couple of times. She was very uncomfortable. And when we finally got to see the doctor, they were like, "What are you guys doing here? You should be in the ED." I was like, I thought this was the ED because they sent us here after I specifically asked for the ED. And guys, it's not a language problem because I speak French. I'm from here. So they knew what I was asking and they still sent me there. So the doctor sent us back to the ED in a rush with a nurse to get treated because she had a concussion. And there were exams to be done and all that. And we had wasted hours. I know in the US, in the ED can be crazy. I know it. And you can wait a long time. But for true emergency, they usually take you in pretty fast. And even if you wait a little bit to see the doctor, the nurse start taking care of you. Here it was like just waiting, sitting in the waiting room for 3 hours without anybody coming to check on us. And that was really like, okay, that's the emergency care. Cool. The second time when she went back because she kept vomiting for hours, they also tried to pull the same stuff and send us back to the on-call consultation. And that time I knew I was like, nope, that's not where we need to go. We are going to the ED, and they got us, in pretty fast. So lesson learned. The second difference between emergency care here in Cote d'Ivoire and in the United States is something that I knew because I saw people experience it, but I never experienced it myself, and it was very scary. It's basically if you don't have any money to pay for your care, you don't get any care. You don't, even if it's an emergency. So back to the concussion episode, my daughter needed some MRI. So they when she finally got to the ED, They took her in, put the IV and all that, and then they bring me a bill for an MRI. And we had come straight from the pool. We had nothing because it was a day we were invited. I didn't take anything except my ID. And they brought me the bill. It was about $800, $700, $800. And they were like, okay, she needed an MRI. Can you go pay for it? And then we'll go and do it. And I was like, I didn't have anything. I didn't have money, credit card, nothing. No insurance card, nothing. So my husband had to rush home, get her insurance card, get some money, and bring it back to the hospital. And then they were able to do the MRI once they got the insurance card. That was really scary because thank God she was fine after the MRI. There was no bleeding or anything. But the fact that her care got delayed and it could have been worse was very scary. Whereas in the US, if you have an emergency, the hospital has to take care of you no matter what, whether you have money or not, they have to take care of you. And then they come for your money. It's not free, right? But first they treat you, then they come for your money. Which bring me to the third part, the third difference was the final bill. When we were going to pay cash, we paid the consultation about $30 about, and then the MRI the bill they quote me for $800. But once we brought the insurance card, we basically got out of that scary episode for less than $50, I would say, with the insurance card. And then when we came back the other time because she was vomiting, same, we pay less than $20 overall. That's different from the US, where your emergency department bill can run really high, whether you have insurance or not. It took us probably a few years to pay off our daughter birth because the bill was so expensive. And we had insurance, very good insurance. Seeing the difference of prices, it's crazy. In the public hospital, it's even cheaper here. The fees for care are really, really low because people can only afford so much. But even in a private hospital, the one that we went to is one of the best in Abidjan, if not the best right now. It's a private hospital, and the bill was very, very reasonable with insurance. That's it. These are the three differences that I can say for if you're planning to move from the US to Ivory Coast, think about the things, prepare for the things. Always have some type of money or cash available in case you have an emergency. If you can afford it, I would recommend to get health insurance. Ours was really helpful in our situation. If you can afford it, go to a private hospital. Public hospitals have great doctors, but they don't have a lot of resources here. That's it. I hope this video is helpful for you guys. If you find it helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like that. And see you next time. Thank you.